So,
All right.
all right. So, uh, we're we're not live. We're recording this segment. This is my podcast. Be quiet. Grown folks is talking. My name is Alan C. I'm the CEO of New Kingdom Entertainment. I'm not the smartest person in the world, but I do know a lot of things, and I am definitely a work in progress. This is I'm about to have a conversation with a good friend of mine that I've known basically all my life. Uh, his name is Clarence Powell. I'm not going to call you a nickname. You can call
No,
me a
go ahead,
nickname if you
man.
want to, or however you want to
No.
be referred to. Uh, but this is a conversation that my friend he asked me. He said he wanted to do this, and I wanted to give him the opportunity to speak his mind. So without delay, Clarence Powell.
Now you can call me Butch. That name came up in Queensbridge, man. That's where the
No
love
doubt,
started.
no doubt.
Yeah. And I don't know. Uh, I guess I'm at that age where I just don't give a shit what comes out of my mouth sometimes, especially when I feel it. You know, and I don't know. I just came up with this thought. Just it ran through my mind how do we confront all the hate that we see today? And one thing we don't do is acknowledge the love that exists. And a lot of us don't want to talk about it for whatever reason, but I believe in talking about it. We'll see the power that it has. You know, uh, uh,
Okay,
I mean, you and I grew up in a conflicting kind of place in time, but we can see the love that existed. I mean, let's put religion and all of that shit on the side and just talk about some of the love that we was exposed to growing up. That white male man. We can look back on certain people that we grew up around, man, that yo, they wasn't the same color, they didn't come from the same background, but there was a love there, you know.
that's a fact.
And I'm just in a place, man, where I feel like if we acknowledge the love, you know, just acknowledge, and everybody can do it. You know, this topic has been something that's just been swelling up in me, man. Last year, I was in Pittsburgh, and for some reason, I was there for a weekend of basketball camp with my grandson, right?
Oh, okay.
You know, and it started. We got there on a Friday, you know, and he did his basketball camp. We was there from Friday till Sunday morning, and then Sunday before we left Pittsburgh, man, we went to a football game. Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh was playing Washington, and I was just looking around all the people in the stadium, man, because we was walking around. We didn't take our particular seats, but just walking around, seeing, what I believe to be really we're being we're under a threat. Our way of living is under a deep threat, man.
That's a diff.
Uh, uh,
That's definitely.
and I really believe that if we acknowledge, what love we have, because there's a lot of people that are put in a position to make a choice that I believe some of them won't be happy in making, but they're doing it at what they believe they need to do to live comfortably or whatever. And I'm talking about a lot of the white folks who do have some love for us, man, but now they're put in a position to question, their loyalties. We talk about loyalty, man. You know, do people really have a loyalty to love? You know,
Mm.
it's amazing, man. I think we can all look back and see, uh, uh, love over the years where, if you really think about it, where it exposed. I mean, it could be a white teacher, it could be, a Japanese student, a friend, you know, yo, I really think that if we expose that where the love exists, maybe people will, you know, yo, we tried. I don't know. Religion just puts us in a place to keep separation going. I don't understand how,
I agree. I
you
agree.
know, and
Totally.
and you know, and I think that as a people, man, there is something that exists, where we can all seek it commonly, man, and yo, uh, uh, especially here in America, man, yo, we're allowing shit to happen. I mean, we don't put up black folks don't put up with a whole lot of shit, and I hate seeing the division, amongst people, particularly us. Those of us who are rooted in this country, man, by way of slavery and shit like that. You know, how this division has us. Like, yo, I think the love outweighs the hate, but a lot of people won't expose it or acknowledge it, and for what it truly means to them. You know, uh, uh, as a people, man, we got something to protect, especially here in this part of the country, man. I mean, I'm really get fucked up when I think about how far we have come. Set aside, like, listen, white folks done tried, those that are in power, not all white folks, but the things that are coming out that's in their face about how we was treated, you know, the lynchings and I mean, and what could we have done about it back then? Uh,
Nothing.
uh, we couldn't do nothing, and we survived the only way we knew, and that's just to live. And some of us live long enough to see some change, man. If we get honest about it, man, the changes that I've seen in my lifetime, in terms of the relationships that we have, you know, hate hate has not stopped love from creeping in, but we don't give love. We don't give love uh, uh, the credit that is due. I mean, this planet started out, with its hateful ways, man.
Well, but if I can interject a, a little bit,
Yeah,
um, I don't think we that love bit that you talking about. We are definitely that, and we definitely have that. But I believe, in my opinion, that we have it too much outside of ourselves. We don't have enough love for our own. We have that love. While you was talking about it, I remember back in the day, a lot of white folks helped me do a lot of things, and even still do. That's a fact. Uh, uh, but to be honest, I shouldn't have to go to white folks to get any help or to accomplish anything. I should be able to do it within my own community, within my own ethnicity, or whatever however you want to refer to or call it. Um, but yeah, that love tip, that is it. And like you said, a lot of people, white people, are not capable of acknowledging what happened in the past. But hell, a lot of black people ain't able to acknowledge it. A lot of black people want to say, "Oh, we shouldn't dwell on that. We shouldn't think about that. We should forget about that." But not really, because you know, like I know, that your past determines your future, and if you don't acknowledge the mistakes or the things, positive or negative, that you did in your past, and don't acknowledge that they contribute to your future, that's a problem, because the mistakes that you made, you're going to repeat them if you don't acknowledge them and admit that they're there.
Well, listen, I don't know. The messages that I've heard coming up, man, is some things that ring clear in my mind. Like, you know, as a human being, I can't change anything about myself that I don't see, you know? And what I don't see is some of the things that I do regularly that I don't question. It's become a way of life. Again, that shows I'm human. But as a people, I think about that. As a people, we can't change what we don't see. So I ask, let's take a look at love and where it exists in your life. I mean, everybody's got somebody that in their life that they like, who you know they really grow. I mean, I'm trying to explain this the best way I can. You have somebody that you have as a friend or somebody, and you got some strong feelings for as a friend. But you also have a group of people who would question that friendship. You know, okay, so you keep certain friends at a distance. You know, y'all might have a relationship, and that's how I grew up. You know, like having certain white friends or people that was different. You know, uh, uh, it's a bitch have growing up where you have different compartments for people that you fuck with. You know, you know, and that's how deep division is in our society, man. You
You
know,
know,
so go
I'm
ahead.
just thinking when you said that. Um, it's funny when I was younger, and I don't know if that's just a product of being in public schools and stuff like that, and participating in things like in school. I had white friends. Uh, when I certain jobs I worked in, like during the summer, I worked in the fresh air cut. All the people that I hung out with and worked with was Spanish, and I had quite a few Spanish friends in Queensbridge. And it seems funny that now I don't deal with people outside of my situation. Like I don't deal with many other ethnicities now, but I did when I was younger. And I don't know if that's probably a product of being in public schools and growing up that way. But I just thought about it when you said it. I really don't have that many. Now I do have one. I don't know if you there's a truck on Linden Boulevard, a sausage truck over there by
Yeah,
that
yeah,
new
we talked
development.
about that before.
Yeah, so that guy, I'm friends with that guy that runs that truck. The last time he seen me, he act like, because I hadn't seen him in like 2 or 3 years because of COVID, and he was getting operations, because that's how we became friends. We was talking about all the operations you get when you start getting old. He was getting a shoulder operation. I got my knee replaced and all that stuff. And we were talking. That's how we became friends, talking about old man shit that you go through as you get older. But the last time I seen him, oh man, you should have seen him. He hadn't seen me, man. He came out his truck, he hugged me. We laughed, we talked. He gave me a hat. And I'm like, you would think I knew this man all my life, and I've known him about maybe 5 or 6 years. But we are truly friends. We acknowledge each other. When I don't see him, I ask about him. When he don't see me, ask about me. And when we seen each other, you would thought we was friends as little kids. The way we acted, and I say, you know what? That's a beautiful thing. But that's interesting that you're talking about that, because Like I said, while you was talking, I don't have those relationships like that. Where when I was younger, I had a lot of situations like that where I had relationships with people of other races, other ethnicities, and stuff like that. But not so much now.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think about a lot of the relationships and people that we know that made it to other places, and to think about and this podcast. And I was thinking about you. You have dealt with a few people on your podcast that uh that are in a different place. I mean, yo, we got people that's in the entertainment field that I know you've been in touch with.
Mm-hmm.
You know, uh, uh, and again, that many of us grew up with in Queensbridge, and how we still stay connected in a sense. Now, I'm not that social, but I am
Mm-hmm.
full of feelings. You know, and I keep up with certain things, you know, that interest me. So I've been kind of selfish, man. But I think about that, and I think about, you know, how just acknowledging the love where we're at. Like if certain people joined in this conversation, like Nas or Melvin Johnson, uh,
Mm-hmm.
uh, you know, and we talk about this and just acknowledging that, and yo, we talk about it with some of the people in our lives. Let's acknowledge the love that exists and what we have to protect. Because I kind of feel a storm is coming, man.
Yeah. Me too.
Something
Me
like
too.
we have never seen, you know. And if we listen, you can't change what you don't see. But if we see the power that exists in love, yo, I think more people would come together. Because listen, our whole way of life, there's a lot of there's a lot of us, man, and I think we outnumber those that are Trumpsters. I
Absolutely.
truly
Absolutely.
we believe them. But if we acknowledge the love that exists and see what we need to protect as a people, come on, let's forget, yo, it's not a black or white thing right now. We need
Not really.
everybody in this, you know? So it's like, yo, let's acknowledge the love that exists. What, 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 our losses would be great. You know, if we don't come together, the losses are going to be great, man. You know, and I mean, you don't have to die to suffer a loss, you know, and it's like,
That's a fact.
yo, you know, and there's some losses, man. I mean, yo, is being affected by what's going down right now.
You know, though that I don't mean to cut you off again, but on that subject, a lot of people don't think so. You have a lot of people and a lot of us, and I get it, that says let's sit this out. Let's not engage. They voted for it. They decided to do what they're doing, and just let it happen. Uh, you got certain people say, "Oh, well, it's not going to affect me because I don't depend on Social Security. I don't depend on welfare. I don't depend on food stamps. I don't depend on this." But they don't realize that you have family members that do. You have other people that do, and that if these things don't continue, yeah, there's a lot of waste. There's a lot of corruption. There's a lot of people that's double dipping and doing all kind of illegal shit. Well, look, we got a gangster in the White House. So what, like what? But at the end of the day, everything affects everybody. If they cut off food stamps, if they cut off Medicaid, that's going to affect this whole country. That's going to send us into a depression because that money's not going to be spent. That's going to cause hospitals to close up, nursing homes. And it doesn't even matter if you have the money to go to the hospital or if you have the money to go to a nursing home. If it doesn't exist, what does that mean? That you can afford to go there? It's not available. And that's what's going to happen if they cut all these things. So I believe, just like you do, a storm is coming. Because if they are
Yeah.
able to destroy these programs and cut off all this funding, and they don't understand all that is what makes this country go. And if they cut that stuff off, not only going to be hurting a lot of people that are on it, but it's going to hurt the people that's not on it too. And the people that's not on it and don't need it don't understand that it's going to affect them because it's going to affect this country, it's going to affect the economy, and it's going to make everything more expensive. Just like that mass deportation. Like, who is going to pick the cotton? Who's going to pick the cotton? Who's going to harvest the vegetables? Who's going to go in these chicken factories and cut up all this chicken? And black folks love chicken. I wonder where they think that chicken come from.
Yeah. Well,
So when
hey,
you look at all that there, like it's insane that some of us say some of the most insane stuff, and it's like you say, we can't come together. Like everybody kept on saying, black people is not a monolith. I get that. We don't all think the same. We're not all the same. But God damn it, at one point we should all be on the same page.
well, you know something, man. Uh, uh, Trump got where he is simply by being who he is,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
and it's simple. He's full of all that negative stuff, the hate and all of that stuff. But we full of some stuff too, you know.
Absolutely.
And I think that, like, just recognizing, acknowledging the love at this time, man. The we a simple approach to is just to look at things for what it truly is, man. And yo, I don't. I think that I really believe that if we acknowledge the love and all the things that we are doing right now or trying to do, more and more people will join in. Like simple protests, hit them where it hurts. Don't spend the money.
That's important.
Let's hey, let's acknowledge the love. And I'm talking about, yo, if we can reach those people that can reach other people, like, okay, again, your podcast. If we can talk about this more, like, yo, I gotta name names. Let's get Nas on here. Let's get Melvin. Let's get the Fleming twins in here.
Yo,
You
I
know,
would love. Yo,
and,
you tell
and
me
let
how
us
to
talk
get back.
about that, and let acknowledge the love and talk about acknowledging the love to some of your friends, the white ones, the black ones, and let them know, yo, the simple thing is just to acknowledge it, yo, and let's do the things that will, yo, affect the powers that be right now. Simple
So let
ways,
me
man. If we don't
let me
spend the
tell you
money,
something. Every time almost every time I make a comment on Facebook that doesn't jive with you know, and most of the time I make a comment or a meme or I repost something or something like that. I have researched it and made sure that it makes sense, that it's not a lie, that it's the truth, and it makes sense. But I if it's not supporting Trump right now, if I post something that doesn't support Trump or is against Trump, you would be surprised how many people comment it and come at me. I be on Facebook going back and forth with people all the time.
listen,
And guess who most of the people are? They're immigrants. And when I make things talk about mass deportation, talk about what the Trump do, they defend Trump. But then let me tell you something. About 2 months ago, before Trump ever announced that he was going to try to stop birthright citizenship. And you know what birthright citizenship is, right?
yeah,
Okay. I was arguing with some immigrants online about that and told them that they were going to be deported. And they said, no, we've been here two
Oh,
generations. My daughter, God was talking about my daughter was born here, something like that. And I said, yeah. And she's an anchor baby. She's an anchor baby. And they're going to deport anchor babies. They're going to get rid of all you people, all you immigrants, even the ones that were born here. And at the time, I thought I was joking. I was just kind of trying to be mean when I said that. And then turn around a week or two later, Donald Trump said that's what he was going to do. So every time so after that, every time I told him that, that would shut him up. Once I told him, I said, you know what? You're defending a man that's going to deport you and your family. Y'all are too dumb for words. They would shut up. They wouldn't come back at me no more. Because most of them didn't realize that when they voted for Trump, they felt like it wasn't going to be them because they're good immigrants because they work, they got jobs, they got businesses. But at the end of the day,
again,
you're still an immigrant.
again, I'm gonna say that as a people, just like individually, you can't change what you don't see.
Facts.
And some of the folks, man, had to see by voting for Trump and see what he would do with that vote. And there's a lot of them that'll begin to see. So let's acknowledge the truth. Let's acknowledge the loves in our life. Because some of us, man, we're acknowledging other things. Some of us, it's about the money. We can't see the moves we should make because our thinking and our desires are in the wrong place. If it was about the love for the community and the love for this and that, man, some of the people, man, are making their choices out of what they're gonna get individually, what they believe they're gonna get.
Absolutely.
So,
That's the problem.
and I kind of feel, man, like the simple solution is right here, especially now at this stage of life, man, where we evolve to. Look at the many ways, man, a message could be given out. But the simplest approach is just to acknowledge the love, man. I mean, there are many people who are looking at videos from around the world, man, and they're falling in love with other cultures just by watching some of these videos. The love exists. Well, let's acknowledge it. Let's just acknowledge it, man. And maybe, hey, there is truly strength in numbers, man. But hey, this is not just an American thing. This is a worldwide thing, man. The hate and love thing, man. The division because of religion and all of this shit, man. There's a bunch of people that really want to go somewhere that it's impossible for them to get there. It's really impossible for Trump to get to where he really want to go. Because there's no love in what he's doing.
Well, Butch, I'm gonna tell you something, man. I do understand exactly what you're saying, but the reality is there's not a whole lot of love in this world. There's talk of it, we talk about it, but we don't do it because the world has still died in the last year and watched Israel kill over 60,000 people, 40,000 of them women and children, and nobody has really done anything about it. And it's still going on right now every day, and you don't hear, and especially if you depend on mainstream media, you only want to hear what they want you to hear. And that's the only thing I agree with Trump about is that it's fake news. The thing we've seen in the mainstream and most of the things that most people are seeing every day is fake news. It's only what they want to show you and in the way they want to show it to you. It pained me to realize that Democrats was no better than Republicans. That most of the Democrats are Republicans in disguise, and they're not really on our side. That's one of the main reasons why we lost the election. That's the main reason why Trump is in power, is because of the greed and the corruption and you know, there's not very much love with greed and corruption, bro. And I see what you're saying, and I agree. And in a brighter world, in a great, in a utopia, love would find a way and be the way. And I'm not going to say that it's not. And but what I am going to say is the reality is there's not much love in this world. In reality, everybody's selfish. Everybody's out for self. And you know, I hope it'll change, and maybe having conversations like this will change it. You know, we're gonna do our part. You're doing your part right now. When you decide to come on here and talk about this, you're doing your part. We're doing what we can do, and you know, we're gonna see.
Oh, hey, again, not not making it a religion or anything like that. Just acknowledging, keeping it simple. The simple thing is to acknowledge it, and to acknowledge it. I think many people will
That's the first
see.
step, right?
Yeah, to acknowledge it first, man, and see what we have to protect as a people, man, and stop thinking in terms, like yo, people want to keep it to a certain group of people, or yo, uh, listen, I don't know, man, it is a heavy conversation, but I believe that just talking about it, people question it in themselves or question it in their with their groups of people that they're involved with. Yo, let that be a conversation at the table when we eat dinner. Let that be a conversation. Let's just talk about love. Expound on love. Let's talk about it, man. I mean, yo, sometimes if you hear it often enough, you might, you know,
Yeah,
yo, where there are so many distractions. And a lot of these distractions that we have in life, man, is they bring the light to us, man. You know, there's people I think about the many people who are fans of basketball, fans of something, you know, and if we just think about what would threaten us, what would we do without all of those things? What would we do? I watch, you watch a basketball game, man, or a football game and things like that. You watch these individuals, man, performing for us. Yo, and some of these guys have a great love for what they do.
yeah, they have to. Yeah,
And all I'm
absolutely,
asking is
absolutely.
like, yo, where do you see love? Where? Yo, and what will we do if that love that we see was to be threatened?
It is under threat. The love that we
You
do
know,
have, it is under threat.
yo, come on, yo, entertainment, I mean, listen, entertainment has been a thing that has caused a lot of problems in the past. People tend to react to what they view consistently. You
Without a
know,
doubt.
it has an effect, man. You like gangster movies,
Mm,
you like love stories, a
mm.
lot of this shit, and yo, the way of life that we have, man, yo, I just see what's going down now is threatening. And it's not just in this country, man. There are other folks in power like Trump in other parts of the world, and right now these motherfuckers are, they really feel they're ahead. You know,
But it's
uh,
but to tell the truth, it's an illusion because they, they they're not really ahead. That's the sick shit about this whole thing. It's like you
Yeah,
just said it. It's only a small, like a third of the country that's Trumpsters. So that
yeah.
means 2/3 of the country is not. So how are they in power?
Well, yo, if listen, it is an illusion. I can get with that, but people need to see the threat. People really need to see it, and things happen for a reason, yo. And when it comes down to you know, as a people, like, what do we do now? You know, we've been leaving things in the hands of other people, man, and
Absolutely.
those of us that can really acknowledge. Just look at where love is in your life, man. Yo, we got a lot to
But
protect as a people.
absolutely. But you know what? I didn't think we, like I said, I was just saying earlier, we need to be on the same page sometime, and we're not a monolith. But in reality, we understood the assignment. Black people understood the assignment because 93, I think it's 93% of black women voted for Kamala, and 83 to 88% of black men voted for Kamala. So for once, we were on the same page during this election. But because we're not the majority, I mean, it's only 44 billion of us in 350 in a country of 350 million people. Our numbers, we can't we can't affect the election, but we can't decide an election by ourselves. And right now, that's the problem because we understood the assignment. To be honest, when it comes to election, I didn't think we did, and I didn't believe we did. And I can see now why. I've seen a lot. Like I said, I've seen a lot of video of black women saying like, "We did our part. Like, y'all need to handle the rest of this shit. We did our part." And that's the attitude of a lot of black people right now, and I can't too much blame them. And yes, that love tip is important, but I think it's more important between ourselves that we love each other and we take care of each other and we make sure that each other's good because we shouldn't have to. I think you just kind of was just saying that we shouldn't have to look outside of ourselves to fix our problems.
I don't know. I think we do that. Those of us in positions like like, hey, we're doing that to the best of our ability. You know, uh, uh, what I'm concerned with as a people, man, is that you know, uh, uh, individually, we recognize the longer we live, what power words have.
Yeah,
We get older, we understand. Some of us get to that place where I gotta be careful what I tell myself. I gotta be careful what I listen to on a regular basis.
mm-hmm.
I gotta be careful, because I listen. I don't know. You get older, I don't know. With me and my battles, man, I get to a place, man, where I really have to learn to look out for myself.
Mm.
You know, uh, uh, I kind of I recognize the competition that goes on in life and being a part of this thing, man. But being true to myself, I can see I've never been that competitive. You know, uh, uh, I don't know, man. This whole thing about love, the simple things, just something simple. I believe has a lot of power. But some people just don't. Hey, again, I would love for this to become a conversation. at the dinner table, in a restaurant. Whenever I'm around a group of people, uh, 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 you know, I mean, there are people who are running the church trying to get some answers. There are people who are really concerned about what's going on, and I don't know. Some of us are, there's so much going on. Some people get real confused about it, you know. Um, and I believe that
Absolutely.
the hate that exists in this planet, man, loves it when people who have a loving spirit, man, the people who are full of hate love it because it keeps those that aren't in touch, man, really confused.
Yeah.
You know, really confused, man. And listen, you know,
I wonder if most people, because I think, see, I think most people are confused about love and what love really is and what it isn't. So yeah, I think that is a good idea that people have that conversation more often. I may even decide to use that as a question now in my next podcast that you done brought it in. Like what is love? What do you think love is? What do you think love isn't? Like, you know, um, because you can love your children to death. You know what I mean by that?
yep. Say it again.
You can love your children to death.
Oh, sure, sure.
And I mean, when I say that, I mean that you can love your children so much that you let them get away with things that in the end will cause them a lot of problems. Because if you don't teach them in the house, the streets will teach them. And,
Well,
and, and
again,
we're not going to like the way the street teaches them.
you can't change what you don't see, and a lot of people do what they do without questioning it because of what they get from doing what they do.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
it's like sometimes just stopping, asking, yo, man, where am I with what I just said out of my mouth? Where am I? Yo, we're not perfect, but we're living in a time, man, yo, man, where some of us are involved in so much shit outside of ourselves. Our minds are constantly going. You know, we don't fast from a lot of things. Every day we wake up, we do the same goddamn thing, same thing,
Basically.
day after day, without questioning it.
Absolutely.
We're robots in a sense, and yo, we watch our kids grow up, man, making decisions that we don't like, and wonder. Sometimes we'll just like our parents, we'll wonder what the fuck did I do wrong as a parent.
Not a damn thing.
Well,
Bro.
no,
Woo.
so
I'm
it's
watching.
like,
Listen, I
huh?
just want to say something real quick because I'm watching my son. At my advanced age, I'm raising a teenage son, and I'm watching him repeat some of the same mistakes that I made, and I can't stop him. I can't stop it.
Well, you know what? Relationships I've discovered are risky. And again, when I acknowledge the love in my life, I can see what I need to protect. And in relationships are risky in the fact that you telling the truth can have a great effect on that relationship.
Mm,
You don't know
absolutely.
how people are going to react to the truth.
Mm.
You know, and a lot of times, a lot of our relationships, man, are in a place, man, where, okay, there's a lot of boundaries in those relationships. And sometimes, we don't take the risk to confront the people in our lives. I don't know, maybe it's too much of a job. I can look back over my past, man, and I can see a lot of times I wish I would have said something, but didn't.
Mm.
And why I didn't is because I wasn't doing it for myself. You know, listen, I'm just at a place, man, where, yeah, I've been battling with accepting more of me on a regular basis. You know, without the love and things that I've experienced over the past 40 years and change, man, I can only imagine where I would be.
Mm.
But I acknowledge the love, and it seems like I'm right where I'm supposed to be. I mean, I can't blame nobody. And it's been a motherfucker learning to love where I'm at and accept me. Yo, 73 years old, man. Come on.
Who would have thought?
And listen, I'm at a place where I say to myself, like yesterday, I was thinking all day that I actually lived through all of this shit and survive it. I survived, and I can talk about it.
Mm.
I can talk about it. This wouldn't be a happy place for me without the tools that I was given.
Absolutely, I know what you're talking about too.
In my last 40 years.
Let me tell you something, bro. You, Danny, probably if it don't be for YouTube, I don't be here. Because I definitely paid attention to what you've been doing for them. Well, like I said, I paid attention the last 28 years. You've been doing it longer than that. But I only became aware 28, 29 years ago. So that's the only reference I have. And in that time, I watched you grow, and you become a legend in our circles and what we do and where we're at. And we've had these conversations before. This is the first time we've done it publicly, and you know, got up. You called me this morning. Well, not this morning, but this afternoon. And for you, I immediately got up out my bed and got busy and got on this computer to set this up. And we just went through some shit with our old asses setting this up, but we got it done. And
yeah,
that's the love. That's the love.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
I get it and I understand it, and yeah, it is important. It is important. But like I said, I mainly I mainly concentrate about that within our own community, because too many times we do things to each other that we shouldn't, and sometimes we don't have, like I said, we don't have enough love within our own community, within our own race, and that's why I concentrate there. And we're not worse. We're not bad. We're not any worse than any other race or community. It's just that when we do shit is magnified. It's pointed out. It's exaggerated. And I really came to understand that. I was a fireman for 8.5 years, and it was amazing within that quasi military organization. I'm glad I didn't go into the real military because I probably wouldn't have lasted because I'm not with the nonsense. You're not going to tell me to do something that you're not going to do. You're not going to, if I do something wrong and another member of the organization does something wrong and he just happens to be a different color and he gets treated different from me, that's a problem. I'm not going to tolerate it, especially not in a military, quasi military situation because that's supposed to be merit based. You know, they sitting around here talking about this DEI and all that shit. Yo, nobody benefits more from DEI than white folk. It's a fact, and especially white women. We are about 6th or 7th on the list of DEI, and it's incredible that we have become the face of DEI. That shit's amazing, but that's the power of propaganda and of the media, and that's something we still don't understand fully. We understand it from an entertainment aspect, but we don't understand it from political aspect. We understand it from the entertainment aspect, but we don't understand it from the political aspect. And like you say, it is very important what you say out of your mouth because, and I'm going to talk about Jesus Christ, even though I'm not religious. He says it's not what you put in yourself that makes you unclean; it's what comes out your mouth that makes you unclean. He also said there's only two things that you have to do to follow all the Ten Commandments, and one of them things is treat everyone like you would want to be treated. Treat your neighbor as you would want your neighbor to treat you, and that's love. That's love. Like I want for you what I want for myself, and I want the best for myself, so I want the best for you.
Yeah, it would be amazing if uh folks who were connected with those words practice those words.
Absolutely.
I mean, come on, even people uh that are in the different religious movements, you know, uh I don't believe anybody fully adheres to, the principles. You know, there's always somebody cutting corners, you know, or, yo, some of the truths are okay. Some of the things I should practice is okay, but I gotta make room for what I like. You know, come on.
Absolutely.
We're not geared or pushed to seek a certain place within ourselves. It seems like what religions do is put us in a position to seek it through another party. You know, you're giving a certain quest to get there. There's almost like a chain of command that you have to follow sometimes, depending on the religion. Now, where was we as a people before these religions? Because there's over 10,000 of them, you know, and it all seems to date back where it started with man. How did man deal with that voice inside his head? What did he seek, man? Who did he talk to back then? If one thing that COVID had really introduced me to, man, is being on my own by myself for long periods of time. You know, uh, uh, I never gave thought to a lot of the things that ran through my mind because I never had to sit with it as long as COVID put me in the position to deal with it. You know, And I think about a lot of the brothers and sisters who are in jail for long
Mm,
periods of time, who
mm.
spend a lot of time on their own, where their mind goes. And I think about some of the ones that I've known that have gotten out of jail, man, and not wanting to go back. They found themselves doing something more on a spiritual tip, something that they practiced while they was in isolation. You know, and that comes to me, recognizing that there are a lot of distractions in this life that we don't acknowledge the distractions. They just be we don't need the extraction. Those are the things we go to sleep on and we wake up to. Never taking a break from those things. You know, uh, uh, to ask ourselves, yo, man, think about a lot of this stuff, man, that could be that could that's being threatened. What has happened to some of those other countries across the seas? We see that as not happening here. And yo, I wonder, man. I know, and it's something I'm in touch with. How many days I got ahead of me, I don't know. I'm learning to enjoy the moment.
That's it.
Learning to enjoy the moment, man, because not to. I wouldn't. I wouldn't want the kids of the world, man, to think about like they did back when you was in. I would say I'm a couple of years ahead of you, so like back when you was in school. I don't know if you remember a time, man, where some of the excuses for negative behavior was the fact that, yeah, and I heard some white boys say this. Uh, 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 they was getting high. They was self-destructive because, like, uh, uh, they was concerned. These are smart kids. That was in touch with what's going on outside of their communities, and they're like, they can push a button at any time. The world has made such advancements with nuclear bombs and shit like that. And some of the kids, man, getting high was throwing that up. Fuck it, the world's gonna end anyway.
Yeah. So yeah, I remember that. Yeah. No, I remember. It was that tune in. What is that? Tune in, turn off, and what was that saying? Sex, drugs, rock and roll. They had two sayings: tune in, turn out.
Uh huh.
Then sex, drugs, rock and roll. You're not gonna be here longer. You might as well party. Till it's 1999 or whatever. I remember
And
that
now,
attitude.
people deal with it in another way. A lot of them ain't getting high, but what has taken the place of the drugs in a lot of areas is the chase for power and money.
Absolutely. But to tell the truth, that's always been the case. You just didn't really see it like that.
Well, you know, these are all distractions that will take us away. Like if we don't give thought to the fact that we have and we've been able to get, you know, because a lot of people, there's some people who are living without the thought of how to maintain. You
They
know,
just living.
they're just living. They're just living. We don't
No
question where
plan,
the
no
love is.
plan, no
Yeah.
no direction. I talk to my son about that every day. Like I was telling you, man, that I watch him making the same mistakes, and I'm constantly in his ear saying, "Bruh, I know you're only 15, but you'll be 16 soon, and you don't realize what I realized. I was not thinking about nothing when I was your age. I had no plan. I had no direction. I had no thought. But one thing you have that I didn't have is you have me, and I'm in your corner. I got your back. I'm going to help you accomplish anything that you want to accomplish. So you got to make up your mind, and you have to start thinking about what you want to do. And a lot of people say it's too early. Nah, nah, this is the time that you make up your mind, you set a plan. You may not follow it all the way through. It may not be your ultimate plan, but start making one. Start deciding, do you want to be somebody or you want to be a bum? Do you want to be 30 years old, living here, still living with me here and here? Is that what you want to do? Or
Mm-hmm.
do you want to be on your own at 18, possibly going to college, learning some kind of trade, starting some kind of business? Because that's what I should have did. I wish to God that somebody had been in my ass early and kept in my ass for me to do something. Even though the funny thing about it is I did accomplish things. I did end up going to college. I did do some things, but I didn't follow them through because I had no mentor. I had nobody to keep, to stay in my ear. And when I would get somewhere, it never lasted because I didn't have that support. And that's what I be telling my son. You don't have that problem. You're not going to have that problem. I'm going to be there, God willing, and the creek don't rise. I'm going to be there. So you have no excuse to fail.
Well, I know dealing with kids that you love, man, be it that yours or your grandkids, man. Yo, uh, uh, if anything, man, it's concerning for me. I'm concerned to a point where, like when I deal with my grandson, it's like my second chance to deal with my son. So
Absolutely.
the thing is that I'm learning. You know, I'm concerned about the conversations that I have with him, and I'm concerned about the time. Look, I get an excitement. I get excited whenever he calls me or we plan to get together. You know, uh, uh, I like and I love the conversations that I have with him. For him to be
That's good.
12 years old, you know, um, to be called by him asking, "Yo, Pop, uh, calling to say goodnight. Would you say prayer with me?"
Wow.
Yo, uh, again, man, getting to a point where I can acknowledge the love because I can go and spend time with him, man, and like conversation gets so deep. One of us, like, I remember we were sitting in the middle of Times Square, and it got so deep, my eyes started welling up, and he
Hmm.
had enough at that point because he didn't want to get to where I was. He wasn't ready, you know. But he's got that spirit like I have, and I allow him to go there
Hmm.
because he'll call me up with something, man, and he'll be so welled up and having the conversation. And all I do is encourage him to continue. I'm there to listen, you know. Uh, uh, yo, there's simple things that we can do, and sometimes the simplest is the shit that we don't see, and sometimes it's also the hardest thing to do. Because a lot of us come from that complicated place, man, where there's certain things, man, that's just hard to address or bring up because we wasn't
Because
raised
it
that way.
wasn't, that's, I was just getting ready to say that because we didn't have those conversations.
But again, you can't change what you don't see. But what do you do about what you do see now? And
Right.
and sometimes, what I see in the present when it's hard for me, when I feel it in my heart, man, and it's hard for me to like put it into words, I got to spend more time with it in the spirit. But as I get older, man, it becomes more important, man. Like certain issues of the world, man. Like one thing I'm learning, and for me, I've done a lot of fucked up shit. But keeping it simple, I can keeping it simple. I can spend whatever time I have left living comfortably with what I have because I have everything that I need. I have everything that I need. I don't have to want for nothing, man. And I know I come from a place of love because of what I want to put out before I leave here. You know, so like uh, I just see like when I go online, it's funny some of the shit that I see. I see your brother all over the fucking place.
Yo, it's
I
amazing.
call him.
I don't even want to go.
I call him the mayor, and I thank God for him, man. I see him everywhere. I just saw a video of him and Skeeter at the center, and I know they was in the back of the center downstairs, and Skeeter was dancing with somebody, and your brother looks into the camera and with that smirk on his face. Yeah. Again, I see the love. I see people like your brother giving it in the way that he knows how.
The only way he knows how.
The way he knows how. And I can't allow, I can't allow nobody to come between me and the love that I have for my folks. Because there might be somebody that has something negative to say about that, or somebody can always come up to try to spoil the moment.
They do,
but I see. Listen, yo, I see that, man, and yo, again, like if we can just acknowledge the love that I see in the moment, and he's got a love for what he does.
Yeah.
He got a love of having his phone.
There are people that have a problem with the fact that he's everywhere like that. There's people that have a problem with that.
Yeah, well,
it's sad, but
yeah, because that's that's part of the battles that we have. Those battles that put something between us and those around us. But again, I feel like if we acknowledge the love, it kind of puts the damper on the hate.
Yeah.
And not that what they do is hateful. It might be a disagreement or something. I've learned that a lot of times what we see in people that we don't like is something that we really don't like in ourselves.
Absolutely. That's a fact.
So it's almost like they putting us on blast for being who they are.
Yeah.
And it's like, and acknowledging the love is like an umbrella, man. For me, it repels the hate that comes towards me. Listen, I know I've been called an escape artist. When I first got into recovery, that was one of the things that they used to describe motherfuckers like us. Escape artists. What we did to escape the feelings of the things that we did in our present moments, over and over again.
Yeah.
Many of us learned to escape, the incoming shit as a result of that. The thoughts that came to mind. We learned we learned to dodge that, man. So we thought.
Yeah.
You think you dodge a lot of the shit that you've done to become who you are, man, and it's like sooner or later you gotta face up to it.
It's funny you say that. I was talking to Danny the other day. I mean, yesterday, not the other day, yesterday. You know, his nephew Kyle passed,
Oh,
and yeah, man,
yeah, he was sick. It's the last I heard. Or did Dana tell me
yeah,
he passed? Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that.
that he was an
Um,
incredible kid, man. I watched him grow up.
oh
I
come on,
watched
I
him
can.
grow up,
I listen.
man.
I got memories of him being in a stroller. Come on, when he was born.
Yeah,
You know,
but
yeah, man.
so me and Danny was talking, and we were going over some things, and I realized in talking to him that he didn't acknowledge something that I had to bring to his attention. And, you know, it amazed me. It took me to be almost a grown in my 50s before I acknowledged it and realized that uh, we were basically molested when we was children, when we was young. And I mean, we was with it. We thought it was cool. You know what I'm saying? We was doing it. We was involved. We was with it. But at the end of the day, it's still what it's still what it was. It's still what it was.
Uh huh.
You know, and you know, it took him a minute. We was talking, and I know in his mind he didn't say it, but it took him a minute to acknowledge it. I don't think he really thought about it till I brought it up the other day because we were together. You know, we went through this together. So, I was saying it to him. I could hear, like he got silent for a minute, and I was saying, "Yeah, man, that's what that really was. I mean, we was with it. It was fun. We had fun, but at the end of the day, you know, it was what it was." And I had to tell him. I said, "Listen, man, almost every female I ever been with has told me a molestation story, either it was rape or molested." And that's something that goes on in our community, our family too, that we don't talk about, and we should. And it's not unique to us, but it is part of our story. It's part of our thing. What we go through in our community, and it is what it is. But it doesn't
Yeah.
change the fact of what it is, and that it did happen, and that it probably had an effect on our lives that we don't even that we can't even begin to realize. And but the funny thing about it, there was some love involved in it, like he was talking about it, like it was some feelings involved. It was, you know, it wasn't strangers. It wasn't strangers. You know what I'm saying?
It doesn't. None of that really matters. You know. Again, here we are years later, and we survived all of that.
Exactly.
And see, surviving ain't doesn't. It's not just the things that are really dangerous. But in a sense, it is. I mean, it's what it does to us mentally.
Mm.
You know, but you live long enough to tell about it. You know,
That didn't have to. That didn't have to be that way. Like you used to say all the time. That did not have to be that way.
it doesn't. A lot of things, but I survived it, man, and again, you know, uh, I don't know. A lot of what we got through, uh, uh, love helped us get through that. You know, uh, uh, and how I see love. Sometimes love comes from being around people who knew something was wrong, didn't know how to get it out of me, but allowed me to go through it anyway without putting the pressure on me of exposing myself.
Mm.
Some people are that close to you where they know something happened and they say, well, maybe one day he or she will talk about it.
Yeah.
You know, So hey, you know, I don't know, Alan. Again, uh, I kind of picture a day when we're having this discussion, and maybe on a live broadcast we can get one of those other folks, somebody who's in a different place than us. It's a little way. Melvin, yo, bring him into a conversation. Uh, uh, yo, if you can get Nas on there, bring him in. Shit. Uh, Meta World Peace and some of them other folks. Uh, let's talk
Well, like
about
I
it.
said, I'm supposed to be interviewing Ray Martin soon. I'm hoping to interview him before March Madness. Especially this year. I think this is a 50th anniversary of something that happened to him. He's been involved in probably three of the most important moments in college basketball history.
Uh huh.
He's involved three of the greatest moments in college basketball history.
Okay.
He's involved. He's a player in one, and he was in the coach in the other two. And it's amazing nobody has ever interviewed him or talked to him about that. And I find that amazing. So I want to have that conversation with him. I've already did one with Melvin Johnson, uh, but we're going to have another one. I did Bernard. I got Bernard Fowler. I did one with him. I'm trying to do Hank Carter. Uh, Nas is probably going to be a reach right now because, to be honest with you, um, I don't think that he's as involved in the neighborhood as he should be. And that's just my opinion. And when I voiced that with some people was telling me that I should mind my business and the things that I think he should be doing, I should do them myself and this, that, and the other. And I told him, I said, you know what? If I had the kind of money that he had, I would be doing it.
Yeah.
That's the issue. And you know,
Yeah.
and what y'all don't understand about finances and about why black folks aren't more advanced than we are is because we don't have access to resources. We can't walk in a bank and borrow money. You know how hard it was? I've been trying to get a credit card for 2 years. It took me 2 years to get a credit card because I was trying to build up my credit because I want to buy some property. I want to buy some I was trying to buy a multi-dwelling building, and I'm still trying to do it. But I couldn't build up my credit because I had no credit. I've been the old school shit since I've been clean. I pay cash for everything. I'm not charging nothing. If I ain't got the cash for it, then I don't need it. But not realizing that credit is power. Having credit is power. It really is. And I wasn't taught that as a young man, so I never even thought about it, building up my credit. It's just like I was just told my Social Security and Social Security. I get a Social Security check. Do you know I never expected that? I didn't. First of all, I didn't think I would get old enough to get it, and by the time I got that age, I didn't think it would still be available. So I'm amazed right now. I'm getting a check because I didn't plan for it, didn't think for it, didn't think I would need it. But that goes to show how you have to plan. You have to start early. You should start early planning your life if you can.
No.
Because
Yeah. No.
even to the point of the health that I'm in. If I'd have thought I'd have lived this long, I'd be in better health because I would have took better care of myself. And just like you said, you didn't expect to be no 73 years old, did you? Did you even imagine that? Did you even think about that?
No. But yo, I'm here. And I'm thinking of what you said about Nas, and what people think that telling you to mind your own business and stuff like that, and the things that you would do if you had the money, but you don't. And then again, like, yo, we don't know where he is. You know, we don't know
And
what he does,
let me tell you something. That's
and
the
because
point
he doesn't
that I
do it
was trying to
for,
make. I didn't know, like I was
I
saying,
don't want to
I
get
don't
to
know
a
what
thing.
he's doing.
Yeah, I don't want to get into a thing where it's about defending him or anything. I know he does a little something, you know, through one of the Austins. You know, one of the things he
Which
funds.
never
You know,
turns
some
out well.
reciprocants.
Which never turns out well, but that's another story.
Hey, that's another story. Again, you know, I think we should look at what brings us together rather than what separates us. You know, he does what he can, fine. You know, and again, individually, yo, you can't change what you don't see. And for me, I don't know what I would do if I came into money. I have an idea. I'd fuck it up like I've been doing.
Yo,
You know, and it's like, you know, at one point, man, you know, again, getting honest with myself, yo, I'm at that age, man, where I'm not chasing the dollar no more. I don't live again. I live to tell about it. You know, I can talk about what I could have did and the opportunities. Wow, where I probably would have been if I would have did this and that.
listen,
But
listen.
shit,
What you just said, I just fucked up some money. I just fucked up 30 grand, and I can't tell you what I really did with it. So you talking about what you would do or what you could? I just did that shit. I just in 3 months I fucked up 30 grand. I can't tell you where I'm right now. I'm going through all my paperwork and all my books to see exactly. I feel like I got robbed.
mm-hmm.
So that goes to show, like you just said, like we could say what we would do if we got some money, but we don't really know until we get it.
I'm trying to send you a photograph of a check that I received back in 20, what was that, 22? 58 grand. And I spent that shit up within a year.
Word.
58 grand.
You ain't
You
been
know,
spending. You ain't been spending 50 grand.
listen. I came into it in a way that I didn't expect, you know, and
Yeah.
because of how I'm living, listen, it's just me. I'm on a fixed income. I'm on a fixed income where I can't have but so much money in the bank any damn way. I can't have over two thousand
Right.
dollars. So when I got the money, and it was left by a guy that I was caring for, you know, a brother, my man, one of, he's one of the best friends I met in the rooms. The first person of color that I met. You know, he's a few years older than me, you know, and I was his caregiver in the last couple of years of his life to the point where I had his car. I was on call to come and take him to the hospital, you know, and shit like that. And I didn't know he
Right.
put me on his insurance. I got a bunch of papers here, man, and shit that you know. But anyway, come to find out, he left me. I was on a list of his family members, man. Uh, uh, I'm because he was meticulous in the records that he kept, you know. And I didn't see this shit until after he passed. He told me, you know, when I would go visit, he said, "Yo, in case you know I don't see tomorrow, man, I want you to know where everything is at. Uh, my insurance papers and all of that is there." And I was telling him, "Man, I don't care shit about that. You know, I'm just worried about you. Just I'm looking for you to get out of the hospital, you know, get better, and we do our trip that we planned." I always had my
Right.
hopes on that,
Right.
you know. He had a couple of $1,000 stashed in the apartment. He wanted me to know where it was at. And when he got sick and taken and was in hospice, uh, I had to ask him, yo, what bills are important for you to keep on? He wanted to keep the electricity going, pay his rent, you know, because we was hoping he'd come out the hospital, and to keep the car note paid. you know. So he was getting good money from the government because he's 100% disabled. So I was able to pay a lot of those bills, man. But little did I know that he was leaving me such a lump of money. So I had suggestions like, family, like, yo, what you gonna do with it? I said, I'm gonna spend it. That was my attitude from the beginning. And the first thing I did was bless some people in my life. I sent some money here. I blessed my son. I took care of a few people, and then I said, okay, I want to buy a car. I got that. Yo, not only did I fuck the money up, I don't have the car no more. So listen, the thing is, man, I had to take my life to a point, sooner or later I had to look at this shit. Why not now, before I leave this planet, to really look at the truth about me?
Yes.
Because I used to share in the early years of recovery about how I felt like I had the Midas touch in reverse. Couldn't hold on to shit. So what am I to do with all these fucked up memories, man? Am I supposed to live out my life all fucked up over what was and not see the love and blessings that existed in spite of that? So I had to get out of that comparing me against others. And
I don't mean no harm, but you made me feel better.
Hey. They say,
oh man,
listen, they never explain which truth would set me free. They say the truth will set you free.
It will.
It has us thinking about the truth for somebody else. I don't need to tell the truth about what? When I look at myself and accept the truth about me.
Who you are.
Yo, especially now, I don't want to spend the rest of my life, still competing in unnecessary areas of that life. Whatever life I have left, keeping up with the Joneses and all of that, man. Somewhere along the night, I need to acknowledge the love and the fact that I can exist with what's left. I can push myself to some unnecessary levels to enjoy whatever time I have left, man. And then listen, I'm pretty much at a place where I'm comfortable. I see some things that, like some of those truths about myself that's been difficult for me, and not acknowledging them. Like, yo, I've heard it all my life how lazy I was. And it took me to get this motherfucking old to see. Lately I started attacking some of the areas of my apartment, man, that I allowed to just go to shit.
Yo, I'm there too.
When people used to come to my house, man, wow, I remember when I first moved in here and how fixed up it was, and a couple of people from welfare came here because I had applied for food stamps and all of that, and two women came, right? Two social workers came, and they sat down in the living room. Oh, this is so nice. And it was like I sensed something funny in them, like they was trying to be funny about it, like I shouldn't have what I have. They not knowing how I got it, or but this is not the welfare of old. Welfare of old, you had to hide shit.
Yeah.
Now they come in, and they was observing. They see the TV, nice wall unit. The shit was in order. All the CDs and all of that, man. I had the furniture, the coffee table, and everything, man. And I'm like, well, it's not like, I made a comment, yo, it's not like I couldn't afford it. I mean, I was working until I got sick.
But also, somebody could have gave you all that.
Doesn't matter, but where it is,
Right.
where I'm
It don't
coming,
matter.
coming to where I am now, you know, this place don't look nothing like it did back then. It don't look nothing like that, man. And yo, and I allowed it to get that way,
Yeah.
and I, like never questioning it until like I asked myself, what am I going to do about it? So little by little, man, because I got, in my living room, there's no furniture to sit on. I got stuff in laundry bags, and I used to have them in those bins, those like 20-gallon bins that you could buy with
Yeah.
the
I
plastic
know what you.
cover. Yeah,
I
I
got a
had
couple of
stuff.
them. I got a few of them.
Man, I got about 15 of them, and maybe four of them are full because I emptied them out. I've been giving up a lot of clothes, so I'm
Me too.
tackling shit in here a little bit at a time, and it's like a quest. I know I have to listen.
Butch, let me ask you
Yeah,
something. What's the oldest piece of clothing you got?
I got a bunch of old shit. I got
Me too.
listen.
Because I'm
I don't
doing the
have.
same thing you
I
doing.
got I got I got triple X shit that I can't wear no more. I done gave out about 4 bags of those. Cause listen, Alan, during the time when I couldn't get around because before the surgery, before the first surgery, which was the hip surgery back in
Yeah.
2009,
Yeah, I gotta
uh,
have
uh,
mine done.
I I really got lazy. I wouldn't get out of bed before the surgery, man, and forget about taking my clothes to the laundry became a problem. So what I do, I got good credit, I got money, I order shit. So I'm ordering clothes. Instead of washing them, I pile my all the shit that I need to wash and piling up. And I ordered new sheets, new pillowcases, new blankets,
Uh,
and I got an abundance of all of this shit. Socks, man, forget about it, man. All this shit I got, I got some old socks. And the thing now, I'm getting rid of stuff. I said it's gonna take me some time, man, but I got the energy, and let me make
well, I got
use.
stuff. I'm coming up on my 29th year. I got stuff from when I first started. So I got shit that's over 29 years old, 30 years old in my closet.
I got shit 40 years old.
Yeah, I can
Please,
imagine.
so it's like again, I said something about what I got over 40 years ago, and what I'm starting to use now, realizing, acknowledging what I have. And the first thing I acknowledge is the love, and then I acknowledge some of the tools that I've acquired along the way. Simple shit, man. Like uh, uh, things that I try to do on the regular, and that's take my own inventory.
Yes.
And yo, uh,
That has to be a
uh
constant thing. That has to
yeah,
be a constant thing.
yeah. I need to
That's
know.
what
I
I
need to
don't.
know.
People don't talk about that enough, and I go into. Well, I ain't been in the meeting in a minute, but it always amazed me that people don't talk about that because I sometimes do it 2 or 3 times a day. I'll sit down and reflect on my life and things that's going on, and look, like you said, look around my room and see all the clutter and shit like that. And I take inventory constantly.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that becomes it becomes a battle. It becomes less of a battle as I continuously look at it. I can't. Things you can't change what you don't see, and sometimes, for me, what I've learned, the ability of seeing is not just what I see out of my eyes. it encompasses the feeling that I get along with it, what I see. That's when I have it. That's when it has the greatest effect. When I when I do more than just see it. I feel it. When I feel it, when I feel that it really bothers me that I allowed shit to get to this place, then I ask myself, what am I going to do about it? And if I don't make steps to if I don't take the steps to deal with that, that's not going to get any better. That's always going to be an eyesore. And one of the things I also recognize, you know, and I can acknowledge is how I always felt when shit got done. When I did what I really needed to do, there's a great feeling in that.
Yes,
So it's
absolutely.
a personal challenge, and it's something. Yo, okay, let me do that. I mean, shit. Yo, I don't listen. To again, I'm grateful that I've lived long enough where I don't have to apologize about who I am. And you know, like yo, uh, uh, I can no longer use those distractions. You know, a lot of the things that go on outside of me, man. Uh, all right, I just see a need for me to pay more attention to whatever time I have left here, and how I can take that and use that to help somebody else. You know, because along the way, yo, at my age, man, yo, where my mind goes, and what I do on a regular basis, man, is what I believe to be me staying in a spiritual state. You know, uh, uh, I I just I'm just it's like a relationship that I never recognized that I with myself. I was too busy running from a lot of what I saw in my present. I ran from a lot of shit, and it's not and it wasn't until I get older where I become more concerned with looking deeper into myself. You know, because if shit ain't getting better, then shit there's something wrong. And what wasn't getting better in my life was me accepting me for who I am. Because all I saw was what was wrong. And how I dealt with seeing what was wrong, yo, with continuing to do shit that was
Yeah,
Alan, it's like I come from that place of self destruction, man, where you know, like, yo, man, what I should really be doing, man, yo, uh, uh, it just amazes me, man, that me being here, and I know I'm in my right mind, but I also see as a result of some of the people that I know in my life, who many people look at those people as something being wrong with them. Certain stands that they take, yo, I don't know. Uh, uh, I'm just in touch with certain fears that I've had all my life of saying what was on my mind. And what was on my mind, I wasn't sure what that shit was. You know? Yeah, wasn't too sure what that shit was, man. I didn't pay too much thought about it because I never really, you know, to be honest, I never really had the drive or ambition. You know, I was good at many things that I indulged in, sports wise and shit like that. I've had a certain level of well, on behalf of the people that I played with. Yo, I got respect. I had somewhat of a game. I could have taken a lot of shit that I've done further, But as I got older, man, I got concerned with that, man. And one of the things I also shared in the early recovery is that a lot of what I had before I reached out for help, what I had on my mind was thinking that I was going out of my mind. I thought I was losing it. And some of the things
That's
that was,
that.
huh?
No, because what you just said, man, I've had similar experience. One of the things why I started smoking marijuana heavily was to go to sleep at night, because at night when I was like 14, 15 years old, there would be so much shit going through my mind. I could not sleep at night. If I wasn't high, if I didn't get high to pass out, most of the time I didn't wouldn't go to sleep till it was light outside. And
Mm-hmm.
that's why a lot of times I didn't make it to school. I didn't make it to jobs and all kind of shit because I couldn't go to sleep at night. Like that's why I was active at night. I stopped fighting and just became active at night, and I slept during the day. I got into a real bad habit where I slept during the day and was up all night. And that was one of the reasons, like you said, I had so much shit going through my mind at night when I would lay down and go to bed. So many thoughts, negative, and most of them was negative. It was crazy. It was just like
Yeah.
I didn't think about like I was going out of my mind, but I knew like it was a problem. I
Well,
didn't want to
I
think. I
think
didn't want to think.
I think at that period of our lives, we was probably thinking more like, "Yo, where the fuck am I headed? What, yo?" Uh, uh, Listen, I remember having thoughts prior to shooting up, walking into the shooting gallery with thoughts of, "Yo, what the fuck am I doing here?" You know, I remember when I first heard about HIV, right? And I was living on Eastern Parkway, and there was a shooting gallery in my neighborhood. And I remember going to this place, man, and the thoughts of what I saw on the news about the shooting galleries, and you know, what the news was showing, how the virus was being spread, other than having sex. What I thought about what I was about to do. I'm looking at the syringes sitting in a glass of water. You can see the blood coming from it, because after they use it, they put it in the water. And I knew I was going to use one of those,
Wow.
and yelling out, "Yo, you got any bleach?" Or, they don't have no bleach. I'm going to run water through it until I think it's clean. Yo, uh, uh, and how I felt wondering, yo, I hope I don't get it. But the very next day, or the next time I was going to get high later on that day,
He was taking another chance.
yo. So this is the kind of shit that I was living through, man. And yo, years later, I'm in recovery, and I remember sharing how grateful I was for being in recovery, knowing that much of what goes through my mind without without some sort of connection to recovery, I might blow my brains out.
Mm.
You know, uh, uh, and then years later, I recognized how important the simple program that was offered to me truly is, and the power in it. The 12 steps.
Yes.
Yo, yo.
I sometimes I wonder where the hell I was, because I didn't hear about AA or NA until I was damn near 40 years old. And I'd be like saying like, where was I? Like that I didn't really hear about or recognize or really get into that information until I was damn near 40 years old.
Until you was ready.
Well.
or you was ready to hear a message. When you're ready, man, it happens. When you're ready, and that's the only way it can happen is when you're ready. You might not be able to see the steps that you took to receive what you have gotten, but you can bet one thing that your ass was ready.
That's a fact.
Cause you wouldn't be where you are today. And you
Absolutely.
can't, like somewhere I realized that it's more important for me to learn how to pat myself on the back than to look for others to do it. I mean, come on. I lived through some reckless ass living, you know, and thank God that the process to recovery is done on a moment to moment basis. It's not like you can just accumulate a whole bunch of information and say, that information puts you in a place of arrival in your life. It don't happen like that.
Yeah.
You can't change what you don't see. And people like me don't usually see what needs to be seen until they take a whipping.
I do a beat. Yeah. That's how it
Well,
goes.
and see a whipping is not so much, it's not the strap that goes upside your ass. Sometimes it's just acknowledging or coming into the understanding of the information that you've always been in touch with.
Facts.
You see it, you see what you see as a result of the accumulated information. Now you get into recovery, you hear the stories of other motherfuckers like you, and all you're doing is hearing the story until it makes sense in your own life. We kind of get to a point where we have those oh shit moments. Oh shit, they were right. Or oh shit, something comes into view as a result of you doing what you're doing. You know that it comes from where it started. When you acknowledge the help you needed. We accumulate information as we stay in the areas that good information is coming from. And it's not just the rooms. We learn to get it from other areas. We learn to get it from other places.
But when we got it from other places, at least for me, when I got it other places, I didn't respect it. I didn't listen to it.
No.
I remember OG telling me way early on. He saw me doing something, consuming some products, and he came up to me and he said to me, yo, son, that's you gonna get strung out. You need to slow down with that. And I looked at him. I didn't say nothing to him, but I looked at him like, who you talking to? Like, who you talking to? I didn't say nothing back to him because I still had that respect. I was brought up with that respect, your elders. But I definitely gave him that look like, who you talking to? Like, I got this. Little did I know. But Butch, I'm gonna have to cut this conversation short because see that right there?
Good.
Say hello, hello, Butch. One
Hey,
of
what's
my
up,
oldest
man?
friends ever. He can't hear you, but
All
you
right.
can hear him. I know you did. Because you up and now
Well, go
you're
ahead,
gonna
man.
consume. Yeah, so I have to start with my Mr. Mom duties and make sure they straight for the day and for tomorrow. But
Yeah.
I truly enjoyed having this conversation with you in public. We've had these conversations in private, but it's truly a pleasure to have this conversation in public and maybe other people see it and get something from it.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll have this conversation again, and maybe we'll have that combination. I have some other people on here that you suggested, and we can
Yeah.
sit down and have a conversation.
No doubt.
So until then, man, take care of yourself, man, and
Love you a bunch, man.
love you too, man, for
All
real.
right.
All right,
Peace.
peace.